Welcome to Transformation with Martine. Conquer everything and compromise nothing. This show brings you real, raw, and vulnerable conversations. If you have never liked small talk and have been on a personal growth journey for a long time, stay tuned as Martine and her guests share empowering stories. Now is the time to own your past and look toward your future with hope. Believe in your dreams, and all that you want to achieve is possible. Transformation Coach Martine helps you accept and love you for you. It's time to listen to your heart and tap into your unlimited potential. You have the answers you need inside. Sometimes you just need the right guide to help allow transformation to happen. Transformation with Martine starts now.
Welcome everyone to Transformation with Martine, where we conquer everything and compromise nothing. Happy Friday. Today we are rainy, stormy, and all kinds of fun stuff out there. But hey, grateful, right? We all woke up today. We all are, I hope, healthy. We all have a lot to be grateful for. For those of you who don't know, my show is every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And my show is about resilience and overcoming and actually just the resilience of the human spirit. That's what we're about over here. The guests that I invite on my show have powerful stories. And my goal is that you are left with empowerment and just feeling that, you can get back up no matter what you've been through. And, you're a rock star. You can do it. Without further ado, I want to welcome my guest today. She and I have kind of been running around the same circles, lost touch for a bit, and then reconnected. And this woman is quite powerful. So without further ado, welcome Corniesha Johnson.
Hola, ¿qué pasa?
Hey, I don't know much Spanish. I got mañana and, burrito and taco and enchilada, but that's about it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're fluent.
Yeah, but that's okay. I have appreciation for it. And, one of these days on my bucket list is to learn some more languages. But for now, I get by.
English. Yeah. Right.
For now, this works. So, Corniesha, tell everybody, how did you get started in this wonderful world of transformation?
Oh, my goodness. It started with, I think, The Power of Now. It started with that book.
Yes.
It started with that book. And I began to feel like I had got to a point where I had done everything I knew how to do by myself. And so everything that he wrote or that he put on YouTube, I went on ahead and watched. And then that led to like someone like Lisa Nichols. Then that led to Ayana, that led to, and so it just kind of opened up the door. And ever since then, I have been on I thought it was a healing journey. I didn't know it was going to be a spiritual journey. I didn't know it was, I just knew it was a journey to find my higher self, but I didn't know who she was. I just wanted to meet her.
Yeah. I love that.
So
I love that.
Yeah, I think it was, I think the turning point really was when I got into Elevate with Lisa Nichols, and that really changed my perspective because I was the go-to person. But the go-to person doesn't always have someone to go to. And once I found that tribe, which, motivating the masses and all that good stuff, Sean, and I was like, oh, people that think like me, I'm not crazy.
Right. I was talking with a colleague the other day and actually we were doing a coaching session really. And she's like, my husband, he's awesome. He just doesn't always get this. And I said, and it's true. Mine doesn't either. He can have an appreciation for it, but people that aren't in this world, they don't geek out on it like we do. They just don't. And that's okay. I don't geek out on like engineering and these project management things like my husband does. It's like, listen, but I'm no, not really my thing. And that's okay. Right. We all have different things, but it's wonderful to connect with people. Yeah. That just, that just make you feel all great. And just like talking with you now, it's like, all right, I got some energy again. All right, let's go.
someone to pour into you, because if you're always pouring out and no one's pouring into you, then you can, your well can run dry. So, it was kind of like, well, oh my goodness, you think that way. Or, you have that kind of thought process, people always said I was different. I was like, that's great, but what does that mean? So when you meet people, they don't say that, you're like, so I don't seem different. They're like, well, we're all different. I'm like, no, like really different.
We're all very unique and all that, my friend Andy Vargo, he's been on the show here, and you should check him out. He has my episode just dropped today. If you look on my pages and stuff on Facebook, it's Own Your Awkward. It's a great podcast. He's a lot of fun. You should. I'll connect you to.
Please do, because he'd be like, she definitely she's awkward. Yeah, have her here.
We all are. We all are. That's the thing, I don't know about you, but when I was, younger, and especially like middle school, right? And just like, you just want to belong, you want to fit in. And now, whatever. I want to belong in certain, groups and all that. And I think I do, but at the same time, it's not like that desire, like to emanate someone else or whatever. We are our own unique beings, and it's supposed to be like that.
And I never really thought I fit in anyway. So I was the only child growing up. So I kind of was used to kind of hanging out by myself. Yeah. So when I'm like a floater, I know a lot of people, but a lot of people don't know I know people because I don't name drop. So it was very interesting now at this age, or point in my life where I'm just kind of like, oh, people are still worried about fitting in. But it makes me giggle because I don't have that thought process. So when I coach people or I teach people Zumba, and it's like, well, I don't want to dance in front of somebody, I'm like, oh, honey, this is a no judgment zone. You're going to have to get down because we're going to dance in here, So I find it very interesting to come full circle where you do meet people that think the same way, but you may not see them every day. We haven't seen each other. We never really physically met, but it seems like we have. Yeah. So like when you're in alignment and on the same wavelength, like distance doesn't matter,
Exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting you say that about dancing and everything. I've always been kind of shy about it. I love it. One of the things when I was a little girl, it's like you have this fantasy. One of my girlfriends, she's going to be a singer and I was going to be the dancer. It's like one of these things. And now it's like, it's more like on my own time. But I've got a couple communities, just like you do, and some of them intermingle, like Sean's and Lisa's and all that, But then another one that I'm a part of, and almost everybody are just powerful Black women, and they've totally accepted me and loved on me and all that. And I mean, my family's pretty mixed. It just, you can't tell that, that I have Black in my family, Hispanic in my family, Puerto Rican in my family, but they've really loved it. And these women dance, and it's like, if you're not dancing, they're going to get you up off that floor and you're going to dance. And it's like, all right, God, I don't look good like they do in this, but it's like, I'll get there. And I guess I can just, go to my own rhythm and just whatever it is, and everybody accepts you anyway. So it's like
they do,
but
it's a positive feeling. You don't have there's no such thing as a perfect dancer. And I always tell people in my classes, like, I'm not judging. This is not Dancing with the Stars. Like, I'm not. Like, that's a 5. That's a 10. Like, no. I just want you to exercise.
We're just playing.
Exactly.
That's cool. That's very cool. So you started, Eckhart totally got you into transformation. And then, like, what happened after that? Like, what steps did you start taking for you to just really be you?
That's a good question. Stillness. But sometimes what will lead you to your purpose is pain, unfortunately.
Oh gosh, I know.
And, I've gone through, if anyone knows me personally, and I used to actually post it more until I felt like I was being judged. And so I said, well, let me start posting things when I'm on the other side of it so I can communicate it better with the different type of energy. And so I know that, the title of this, segment is Resilience Meeting Purpose, right? Yep. And so that's exactly what happened. It was like resilience met my purpose, but I needed to heal in the process in order to progress. And so I used everything. So everything that I felt like was beating me up. So if I were to just maybe perhaps pick something, right, from my life, because we don't have a lot of time, you know. So I can pick, say, coming back to Atlanta, Georgia, which is where I live now, right? And so the journey here was me getting COVID, me having bursitis in my hip, having to quit my job, my landlord throwing everything I own away on the curb.
Oh gosh.
Returning my car the same day, coming back with a carry-on and 2 pair of panties and a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know, but that's the other side of pain and fear and doubt, because once you're on the other side of that, that doesn't mean challenges are not going to come anymore.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're actually tested even more to see how much you have learned. So, you know, life has nothing on the SATs and LSATs and life tests, life challenges. I tell you, you have to graduate in your mind. You don't need school sometimes. And so I think the totality of it all is, before things happen, I take the time to process what's happening. I go out in nature. I was at the lake every day. You know, I dance. Dance is kind of spiritual for me. It is a love language for me. It is my expression of freedom. I salsa, bachata, merengue, you know, habla español, like that is my jam. And so when I'm dancing, I'm not thinking of a bill. I'm not thinking of Verizon or nobody else. I'm thinking of just freedom.
Yeah.
You know, freedom. And I think I said something the other day on my page, because I have a Facebook page, of course, it's, you know, you're on there and it's like 10K now. And I'm like, these people are really following me. What do they want from me? I'm just dishing out positivity. And one of my friends is like, I think you have forgotten, because you're on the other side, that people have been watching you and they're being inspired by your journey. And I think it's time for you to start to express how it is that you really got through some of the things that you've gotten through. And stillness, that's great, and you're positive now, but tell them about times when you didn't have any food, and then you said to yourself, I'm going to have food, so let me not focus on what I don't have. Let me focus on what I do have in the future. Let me make that present in my mind. I've played a lot of kind of mind games with myself in a positive way, exposing the lies. You know, if you do that little exercise where you expose the lies and you say all the things that you tell yourself that are not true. And then you write the opposite. You know, I'm not going to say I'm going to be single for the rest of my life with cats in my house. No, I'm going to say I have met my Juanito. We are married. We live in Spain. You know, like and really feel into that and really take it on as if it is true, because it is your truth. You know, what's done is already done. You don't have to keep reliving it. You know, so that's how I continuously go. I take my mind where I want to go, and then I put action behind those things that I really desire, and it ends up working out. Sometimes it takes a while, and then you have to ignore the noise. But that is consistency is everything for me.
I agree 100%. And, you know, it's these things sometimes when you're in these things, these situations. I've been like you, lost my house too. And, you know, it foreclosure, you know, that kind of thing. And a divorce that I sure didn't want. And, just a lot of things. And then it's like, I did meet somebody great again, and I didn't even plan on him coming, but I did. And we moved here. And then my mom, she had dementia, but we didn't know it. And then she moved here for me to help take care of her. And then she died. And then my sister died. And then I was diagnosed with cancer. And then my brother died. It's like these things, like you're saying, things happen and continuously. But the thing is what we make of it. It's where we find the lessons, you know, the blessings in the lessons.
Right.
How we can share our stories to help other people, because our stories, they happen for a reason. I had someone tell me quite a while ago that, you know, your story is an answer to somebody's prayer. Just to hear that you did it, you made it through, you moved away with a carry-on and very little, but here you are again now, you did it. And, you know, I mean, it all can be used for our higher good and the good of others. Absolutely. 100% can be.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that is what it's there for. Like, cause that's all I say to myself during that process is, this is for the future. This is for somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, homeless sitting in the car. This is not it. This is not the end, you know, but you can end it in your mind for what's going on and start working on what's in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is something that will get you through those times. Just knowing that you have a choice. We always have a choice, whether it's going to be good or bad, or, you know, today's been an extremely stressful day. And I thought, well, it's here, but I can enjoy it anyway.
Yes, you can. You can take those moments for yourself where you're like, well, I'm breathing. Yeah. Like you can find the littlest thing. I remember one time I said, I tied my shoe. I was like, really, Corniesha, that's all you can find? I was like, listen, I tied my shoe.
Sometimes that is all you can find, and that's okay. That's okay. But I like that. I want to remember that one, especially for like my kids or something, you know, especially when they get moody or this go that, you know, the other, like, I fully get you. And you did tie your shoes today. Dang it. So yeah, I like that. That's perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to take a break and we'll be back in just a moment. Oh, before we go though, where can everybody find you?
They can find me at the Savvy Nail Chick on IG, and of course my name on Facebook, Corniesha Johnson.
And it's out there for everybody to see, but still it's good for you to say it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back in just a moment, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome back to everyone to Transformation with Martine, where we conquer everything and compromise nothing. My guest today is Corniesha Johnson, and we are talking about the journey, resilience, getting back up when sometimes it's really hard to do. And like Corniesha shared with us that, hey, sometimes you have to look for the littlest blessing, like tying your shoe for a day, to just like, hey, you know, I have something to be grateful. I was able to do that. You know, for me, one of the things I do is just to look outside, flowers. The fact that everything outside right now is, you know, we still have pretty red leaves outside. Fall is still there, even though we're starting with the winter. And, you know, just looking around for your blessings that, you know, most people, we have what we need. Not always, I know. I've been there. But for the most part, we do. And just be grateful for what we do have, because the other stuff, it's coming. The blessings are coming if you believe they're coming. If you believe you're never going to get out of this and you're never going anywhere, that is true as well. So always control your thoughts. That is one thing you can do if you can't control all the other things around your life, you know, in your circumstances. Yeah. So you, again, you know, to reiterate, you found Eckhart Tolle. That's how you got started. And then you started just focusing on the positive. And take us on like a little bit of a journey. Like you found your way back. You started getting more and more into personal development, teaching Zumba and coaching and all that. And like, where did you go from there? Like, what was like another step you took to start feeling more like you?
Something that I think we fail to realize is that we have gifts no matter what. So you can be going through anything and you still have that gift or those gifts. And sometimes we don't open them. We don't always open them. It's like waking up Christmas Day, going to the Christmas tree, and there's a bunch of gifts and everyone's saying, this is for you. And you're like, are you sure? And no one else can open them. Like they're all labeled for you. Like it says your name, Corniesha Johnson's on it. And I'm just picking it up and just shaking it. I just want to hear it and put it back down. That's my gift though. Why aren't you opening it? It costs us a lot of money.
What if it's wrapped in sandpaper, which a lot of my gifts have been wrapped in?
Well, that's why I just shook it. That's why I just shook it and didn't want to open it. But some of them were not. Some of them were not wrapped in sandpaper. Sometimes it's the obvious. Sometimes you can normalize things being difficult for you after a certain amount of time if they have been difficult. My natural abilities and dancing and speaking and coaching, all that comes naturally, but I wasn't doing it. And I like it was a hobby. And I was like, why am I acting like my passion is a hobby? Because I was told it wasn't real. But if I think it's real, then it's real. So I had to change my mindset. When I was growing up, when you're talking about jobs and careers and, when I said that I wanted to be like a dancer of some sort, it's like, that's not a real job.
Yeah.
And I think back to certain times like that and I giggle and smile, like, if it's not a real job, how am I the first Zumba instructor at the state capitol?
Yeah.
Some real there.
I get that. It's like when I was in law offices, I was a paralegal for good about 20 years of my life. And my parents both thought, oh, that's good. That's like a respectable, good thing, especially when I was a single parent for a while there, that, okay, well, you can take care of your kids that way. All right. And then after I got diagnosed with cancer, I knew that I got to do something else here. I knew I had to get back to my passion, which is helping people. I didn't know exactly what it looked like, but I jumped into health coaching and did that was my first certification. And then as I started meeting people, I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what kind of like coaching I want to do. And my dad, to this day, even though I've gotten, well, much more successful, oh, well, good thing your husband makes the money. I still get that from him. Like it's there's no respect for it. He doesn't understand it, doesn't want to understand it. And it's just like, well, good thing. And it's like, gosh, Dad.
You can't change people's minds,
I know.
It's just the action, because my background's in social work. So I have a degree in social work. Yeah. And so it was kind of like, well, that's real. I was like, yeah, but it was real sad and it was real broke. And I got sad and broke and I wasn't feeling fulfilled. Yeah. So here I am, happy. And, it's like people are confused. I'm confusing people right now. How is it she's doing what she loves and happy about it? And maybe they don't feel the same way about what they're doing. And then two, people have a timeline. People have the nerve to have a timeline for you that doesn't exist. Right. You're like by now you should be married and have kids and this dancing stuff, it's like, oh, well, are you happy though? My happiness is a priority, and my joy and my, that thing that you wake up. I used to wake up and not want to go to work. I used to wake up and be like, I wanted to go home already. I was already home. And I had start having mini panic attacks because I didn't want to go to work. So my foot would shake on the pedal and no one knew. I never told anybody. And I was like, just keep pushing. You need this money. Keep going. And I remember one day I was like, this doesn't feel right. And that was around the time I found Elevate. Yeah. That was around the time. And Lisa was like, girl, if you don't dance, I'm going to come through the screen.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's like, all you want to do is dance. Corniesha, go dance. And I'm like, it's not that easy. And it really was. It really was. I went on Indeed.com. I put Zumba instructor in. The first job I saw, I applied to and got it at a behavioral hospital.
Yeah. That's really interesting too, that you just say like, not only like it's a hobby, it's a real job or whatever, just the same as my situation. It's just like, oh, well, okay, that's good. I don't understand you, but okay. And it is like the basis of, they're not happy, so they're going to bring you down. But really, when I look at you, when I think of you, you're just the epitome of light. You are a bright, beautiful, shining light, and you bring happiness. You just do by bringing you. You do.
Thank you so much. And it's Absolutely. A joy to be for people. And I remember those teachers or those professors or whomever that you would meet and be like, oh, I'm just so happy that you're in my life. Or you said something to me that no one said before. Someone actually today told me they thank God for me. And I was like, I don't know what to say.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You were an answer to them. That's what that's about.
And we tend to forget that, your 17% can be someone else's 70. You're looking for perfection. You're thinking, oh my God, I have to have this and that and the third. And someone's just like, just start with what you know. Yeah. Like someone asked me to teach them Spanish and I was like, I'm not fluent. They're like, I know hola. I know you know more than hola. I was like, yeah. And so I start teaching a Spanish speaker how to speak English. And I work with him online and he pays me. And it's like, so simple. It's like our natural abilities, our talents, our gifts, they're just kind of like just really sitting there waiting for us. It's not the other way around.
I know.
And in most of it's so crazy how we really think we got to.
Yeah, it's totally true. And I think it's believing in ourselves that we really can't have it though. I will be really honest that, I've been on this journey a long time and success has happened over the years, but it's really only been in the last 2 years, I think, that I've kind of like, okay, I actually can have this too. That it isn't just for everybody else. I can, growing up a child that was, I was hurt pretty badly. And, you just think if someone doesn't care for you and doesn't protect for you, you don't really feel like you are worth anything. Yeah. So it's taken me a lot of years of, peeling off the layers and all that and trying to come back. So I know that a lot of people are that way too, like that. How can I really have fun being a dancer? Like, how can I actually do that and make a living? But you have to believe that you can. And that's the whole thing in yourself. Yes.
In yourself. And you also have to remember that you can bring everything about you into whatever you do. Mm-hmm. So the social work comes in, the coaching comes in, the wellnesspreneur comes in, the content creating comes in, like everything. I don't leave anything out of my class, really. Like some people come in because I'm in there and they know they can talk to me after class. Mm-hmm. It becomes a whole counseling session sometimes, you know? And it's I teach nurses from Emory Hospital. Some of them they're stressed. They went through COVID. Some of them I talk to and just give a little, pep talk and some advice. And they're like, do you counsel people? It's like, I actually do.
Yeah.
And then too, like believing that you can monetize your gifts and still give and serve and still also get something in return for that. I think my being so humble in the beginning, I was doing stuff for free. I was being asked to do things for free. No one really valued, what I was doing because I wasn't.
Right there. If you don't value what you're doing, it doesn't mean that you can't we need to take a quick break, but we'll come back to this conversation because it's really important. We'll be right back with this. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Transformation with Martine, where we conquer everything and compromise nothing. My guest today is Corniesha Johnson, and we've been talking about entrepreneurship and our value and just being able to stand up for what's important for us and to charge our worth and, just to believe in ourselves overall, because really I've learned over the years that if we put a low price ticket on our worth, our offerings, people don't value it at all. And that doesn't mean that you can't give some freebies, that you can't give some. I definitely do. I give of my time. I help others in a lot of different ways, just like Corniesha does. But it's like there's nothing wrong with you making the income that you deserve, because you do deserve it. You put your time, you put your effort into it. You keep educating yourself. I'm in a training right now. I'm just taking a break for the show that, I pay money for. And that's something that helps us grow and be able to offer more to our clients. So Corniesha, now that people are seeing your worth, how do you feel about you overall?
I actually am very proud of myself.
Yeah.
It took me a while to learn, I don't want to curse. So there's a book called How to Not Give Two F's. Mm-hmm. And I had to read that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't have to read things like that. They just don't care. They know what they're worth. They don't feel bad about asking for it. And it wasn't that I felt bad. I just didn't, I think I was like, I don't want people to not like me after this. But then Zumba and everyone else that wants membership fees from me does not care about me liking them or not if I want to continue to do what I do.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, at that point.
Sure.
I started to think too, and I was a little younger. So I was thinking, so let me get this straight. When you go to Target and you pick up a pair of jeans and you go to the cash register, do you say, well, hey, cash register person, cashier, how about 10 instead of 20? Are you bargaining? No, you know exactly how much it is. And you know that that's what they're expecting. And that's how I started to conduct me or myself and my business and what I do. And I think once you start to take your power back, the energy kind of changes where people are like, no, she's serious. And she's great at what she does. You can be great at what you do. You can love it. You can be humble. You can all those things, but you still need to get paid as well. You still need to, because you're adding value to other people's lives. That means something. And for people, some people actually wanted to pay me, but when you go through a company, sometimes it's kind of, shaky. But when people find out how much you really make, sometimes they want to give you extra. Sometimes they want to try to help you and support. They want to be a part because they can see it. They're like, I see it in you. And I just want to be like, have like a little speck of something, in your journey, because you, my friend, are going to make it, and I'm just like, oh.
And that's the thing of watching others, because there's a particular woman in my life right now. She's a mentor, and I see what she does, what she's created. And a lot of what she does, I'm not interested in, but a lot of what she does, I am. And she believes in herself.
Yeah.
She absolutely does. And the life that
starts
she's
with
cultivated.
You.
Yeah.
It starts with you.
And that's the thing. It's like all of us can have it, but are we willing to put the work in for it? That's the thing.
And that's the part. The whole putting in the work is because the work is layered. Because you got to work on you first, because your business is a reflection of you. Yeah. And so me working on me was like, I didn't know I was like that. Oh, that's not pretty.
Sometimes looking at that mirror, it's like,
can we put some makeup over? It's like, no, we can't. I'm like, like, you mean that. I'm kind of controlling in this area, or like I absolutely have no idea about the business part. You get the talent and the gift and you're doing it, but then you're having to learn about budgeting. You're learning how to money, investments. And, sometimes learning something new could be just like learning a different language. When I started to learn Spanish, when I initially started to learn, I had to go back. A-E-I-O-U. I had to go to the children's section. I was like, I'm a grown person in the children's section. Like, that's the same thing with everything else. You're a baby in every area of your life until you really learn more and more and more. And you got to be patient with yourself, and a lot of practice, a lot of practicing. And you have to be willing to put yourself out there. Now, granted, you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to make some mistakes. I made some mistakes, even as an instructor. People like, you just get up and dance. No, honey, it is not that. When I started working at the behavioral hospital and I had the teens, I was learning TikToks and they were basically booing me off the stage. I was like, because they're looking at me like an old lady learning
nothing
TikTok.
Like the young people to do that to you. Oh, Lordy.
Well, I was like, okay, how about, they're like, no. They would just flat out sit down and not participate. And I was like, then I thought to myself, I got to do me. Yeah. They're going to have to learn. So slowly, they all start getting up and dancing, start salsa dancing with me, start bachata dancing with me. They were just like, I don't know what you was doing before, but I'm happy you stopped.
Yeah. God. Yeah. I said, there's nothing like them to have you just kind of pause and be like, all righty then. But still be in your own. My kids used to tell me a lot of times, like, Mom, you're really going out in that. And I'm like, well, sheesh. I mean, I try to dress pretty nice. But in their eyes, they want more of a, I don't even know what the current word would be, but just more of a trendy. And I'm more of a classic kind of person. They're more trendy. Okay, that's fine. But don't pick on your mama. So
that's what they're there for. I love them. I love teens. And I think, I actually learned a lot from the teens in their generation because of what they're growing up with. The way that they value what they value is a lot different. I used to work at the YMCA and I worked with teens there.
Yeah.
And they would ask me like flat out, is it worth you working here? And I would be like, I didn't know how to answer that because I wasn't getting paid what I wanted to get paid.
Right.
And I didn't want to lie. So I was like, why do you ask me that? And they're like, because I know you do more than what you're asked for.
Wow.
These are like
that's
teens.
A lot for
Yeah. And I was like looking around like, and they're like, aren't you a Zumba instructor? Why aren't you doing that too? And like the questions they would ask me, I'm like, did somebody send them? Like, but they have so much at their, available for them to use and to get better with. And like, we didn't have all the things that they had. And so they're quick to be like, I quit. I'm not going to work today. I found something else. I figured out how to make a lot of money online, so I don't have to. And I loved being around them because they taught me so much. They were really like, no, because I saw you on IG and you do this really great. Why don't you just keep doing this? And Instagram started paying me. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah. Well, hey, see, that was worth it. Right. That was good.
So it's like some things are disguised as what you see, but there's something underneath it. There's always something, as for example, when we laugh how we met, and now to like, you didn't even have this podcast, this radio show that didn't exist at all. How would we have known 2.5 years later, you would be talking to me and I wasn't instructing. I was a certified Zumba instructor and everything, but I wasn't even instructing. We're both doing what we said we wanted to do. We were not 100% confident at that time.
No, not even close.
We just wanted to do it and we hoped and we had, and now we're sitting there looking at, we're OGs now.
Yeah. That's the thing, and sometimes it can be like, I feel like I've been working up to this point all my life.
Yes.
But every day you get stronger. Every day you start moving towards your goal if you don't give up. And that's the whole thing, is you don't give up. I want to go back just for a moment. What you were saying about like, sometimes when you look in the mirror and it's like, oh, I need to add makeup. I need to do this, something I'm not liking what I'm seeing. There's also, how do I put this? Like, we have all these, we start out as perfect little beings, right? And then all these things get layered on top of us, the traumas and all the stuff that we go through. Mm-hmm. And a mentor of mine, she had done an exercise of putting like, oh gosh, I think it was oil, but then she put not water, but like soda or something in it. And, that kind of bubbled on top of it or whatever. And then that was like some of the layers. And then she's like, and then you take like, it's the makeup, it's the jewelry, it's the pretty clothes. And she put glitter in there, on top of it too, trying to pretty up the mess. And really what we got to do is to start uncovering those layers and then just start letting our authentic self, it's that unlearning, that part of us to shine.
Well, again. You can't put perfume over funk.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
I learned that in the hallway running track back in the day. But you just can't. You got to take a bath. You got to wash it off. And you got to dig. You got to dig in your own roots to see who else planted some seeds in your garden. Because sometimes you are watering things that other people put in there.
Yeah. Pluck those things out. Bye-bye. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with final thoughts and whatever good wisdom else that we can come up with together. Talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of Transformation with Martine, where we conquer everything and compromise nothing. My guest today is Corniesha Johnson, and we've been talking about just transformation on every level and believing in ourselves and, taking steps towards our dreams because we do deserve it. And that is something that once you realize that you do, and sometimes you might have to borrow somebody else's belief in you, but once you do believe in yourself, really the sky is the limit. You really can do anything. So Corniesha, now that you're living, at least right now, we are like, sometimes our dreams and goals change, right? But you're doing what you want now. Mm-hmm. What would you encourage somebody with that's really in a, what would you say, just a place of say a mom who the kids left home and she's wondering, what do I do now? or maybe a divorce happened and she's on her own, or just a woman just being like, I need something different.
Mm.
I
It's
know
called
that's loaded.
explore.
Yeah.
I am an explorer. It's
Mm-hmm.
not Dora for me. It's Corniesha the Explorer. And
Yeah, that's right.
I like to do things I've never done that are positive,
Mm-hmm.
and I started doing that with my birthday. So I was like, I'm going to start doing things I've never done on my birthday. So I went skydiving.
Oh
I remember
boy.
going skydiving. I paid extra to go higher. It's like, if I'm going to go big.
Girl, I don't know about that one. Woo.
At first, it started off with the movies and dinners, but then, I like a little more to it. So I
Yeah.
started writing things I've never done before that I've always wanted to do, and start taking actions towards it.
Yeah.
So, like the next thing, I want to do like a race car driving. I want to go to Egypt. I want to go to Spain. I want to move to Spain. So there's like, you start doing things that you've never done before. Even if it's locally, even if it's just like, what kind of park is this? And you go to a park and realize there's a garden you've never seen before. You can, so my advice is to do something new. You can go a different route from home that you've never been before, just as long as you get home. Like it's just, I've gotten lost before, and then I figure out I'm not really lost. I was meant to find this museum, this coffee shop, this, and I find pleasure in the new, because that's what exploring is. In order for me to, because at that point, sometimes you don't realize it. It's a fresh start. If you're sitting there like, okay, well, what do I do next? Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, it's no rules to it. Your kids are gone. You had a lot of mommy time. Now it's you time. And now you get to identify yourself. Like, you get to revamp. I've cut my hair before. I know I chopped my, how when women cut their hair, they say like they're going to change the world.
Yeah.
So I cut my hair before. I had never done that before. I mean, just do things that are new to you. And you will begin to change, because you're going to meet new people in that process. You're going to go to a different area that you're not used to. So environmentally, you're not going to be in the same position. Eat something new. I changed my diet. I don't eat gluten and I don't eat meat. It actually changed my taste buds. And, so there's certain things that I eat now that I would have never. Mushrooms? Oh, I would have never ate those when I was little. Like squash? No, squash the squash. I'm not eating squash, and now I'm like, give it all to me. I need all the vegetables I can get.
Yeah.
It just, you start to change, and before you know it, because you'll start to notice people like, you're acting different. Like, it's not an act. I am different.
Yeah.
I've grown.
It too.
Yeah. It's not an act. Like, why are you saying I'm acting? I mean, I'm a great actress, but no, I'm not acting. This is me now. It's like, oh, right. Same name, different person.
Yeah.
So it's, do things that bring you joy. I read a lot. And I love to create something. Go somewhere and make some art. Go somewhere and draw something. Go make a song. I started doing some voice lessons the other day, and I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens with this. Learn a new instrument, learn a new language. I've learned new language. I mean, this is how my brain works. Like, anything that you want to figure out or find, it's out there. It's out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pick up the guitar, whatever it is you want to do, start learning the piano or
exactly.
Yeah. And like you said, the language is really good as well. And just knowing that to me, it was kind of scary getting older. I mean, like, oh my gosh, this is the second phase. And now it's kind of like I embrace it, because it's like, hey, I'm still here. I get to enjoy getting older. And now is my time. My youngest is 19. So it's like, yeah, it's getting to the point, or it kind of is my point. He's, self-sufficient. That I love the work I do. And now it's like, what kind of fun do I want to have? I want to travel. I want to go to Europe. I want to see different cultures. I want to experience different people, different foods. I had a guy on my show not too long ago, pretty amazing person. And he was in an accident that left him as a, paraplegic. And once he started traveling after that, and he's like, you'll never find a better food than you will in Italy, and I'm like, oh, cool. That's like the number one place I want to go, just exploring all kinds of different things.
It's interesting how your gifts will make room for you. Mm-hmm. I think it was like a week ago, Zumba invited me to Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And cool. I was like, for what? They're like, well, I'm a color street stylist, like nails.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're inviting Zumba instructors that do different things. And you do both Zumba, circle mobility, and color street. This is a retreat. So like, we want you to come and do people's nails. I was like, I would have never in a million years.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
Yes, 10 years ago, like, Corniesha, you're going to be in Dominican Republic doing people's nails and dancing. Making money and having fun. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's just one door will lead to another, but you have to go through the first door. But you hold the key. Just don't go through the door that you keep trying to jam. You got to let things flow. And that was something that when I was younger, I used to force things. I used to think things were supposed to happen the way that I wanted them to happen, instead of how they were happening, and just like flow within that. And that comes with age, wisdom.
It does. And when you just start like opening up and just believe in the possibility, I never thought I'd go to the Caribbean. Like, it wasn't like Europe's always been my thing. Like, I've wanted to do that, but I got to go to the Caribbean this year with a powerful group of women. I'm like, wow, really? I get to go? Whoa.
Right.
I got my first stamp on my passport. Woo. That was really cool, but I had to be open to that.
And you had to be open.
Yeah.
And you had to have space.
I receive that.
Yeah. You had to have space. So you let go of something or some things because that was always there.
Yeah.
Caribbean just didn't appear, it's always been there. So it was timing, but it was like you had to let go of something, some type of resistance of some type of a person. It could have been anything, or your finances were at a point where you could, and you went. And that's the beauty of life, even within your challenges, is because you're always being led to something.
I agree.
And just like when you get in the car and there's traffic, you're still going home. You're just stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
It's the same thing,
That's a very good point. People with all the road rage is going on. It's like, you're going to get there. It's like, hey, if you didn't stop to pee before and now you got to go, it's, oh, well, it's the way it is. Because you wonder sometimes, why is somebody driving like that? Is your wife going to have a baby in the car? What the heck is going on?
Nothing at all.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Like, just chill out.
But it's easier to say. I know in my 20s, I just thought everything was supposed to be put together. I thought it was supposed to be perfect. Because I watched Walt Disney growing up, I wanted my life to be, I could get the husband and that ain't real life. That's not real life.
No, Hallmark's not real either. I love to watch it, but it isn't, it's nice to kind of sit over there and drool over these guys and all that, but it's not real. It's just not, but that's okay. Fantasy is fun, and we can create pretty amazing lives.
Yes, we can. And we do. We stay within the realms of who we are and who we truly are.
Honor, values, alignment. Absolutely. So we have 1 minute left. Where can everybody find you? One more time.
You can find me on Instagram at the Savvy Nail Chick, and you can find me on Facebook as Corniesha Johnson.
Yes, and she is a rock star, everyone. She really is. She's fun to watch. She's very animated, as you can tell, and she's just a beautiful, bright soul that helps other people in her own unique way. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Much, Martine.
Absolutely. And maybe we'll do it again. Huh? Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you next Friday. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Adios.
Thank you for tuning in to Transformation with Martine. Real, raw, and vulnerable conversations. Listen or watch live every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Martine and her guests have deep, meaningful conversations, sharing empowering stories. Step into your passions and lead with your heart. If you are ready to accept and love you for you, visit MartineEmmons.com and start allowing transformation to happen today.